Welcome back to Capsule Monsters. Monsters, not mustard. Monsters. I got it right that time, at least. Area 2 presents us with 5 new opponents. Mako Tsunami, Rex Raptor, Mokuba, Weevil Underwood, and Mai Valentine. That's the order I'll be facing them in because Area 2 lets us choose the order of opponents, and it is pretty important. I'm taking on Mako Tsunami first because his stage is basically a freebie. He has, for some bizarre reason, an easier speed kill than Taya Gardner, and if you saw the video that I made of this already, then you know what I'm talking about, but it's actually a lot worse than that video implied. Now that I have a fire symbol, things are gonna take an even more amazing turn, but I suppose we'll get to that in a moment. Let's talk about the order I'm playing these guys in. I have pretty solid strategies for Mako Tsunami, obviously, and Rex Raptor, so we'll be taking them on first. Also because I can afford to go second on the next 3 duels, but certainly not against these guys. I want to go first here, so for the purposes of the recording, the less time I have to waste going through those guys' stages and then resetting when I fail the luck roll here, the better. We're bringing in the Kuribos just so they can collect more experience. By the end of this area, one of the Kuribos will be level 4. That is extremely important for Area 3. So, just arrange them like so. You may have noticed that this game allows you to place the capsules at random, which I have no idea why you would ever do that. When you actually do use that feature, it's more like they just place them at random around your symbol, which isn't helpful. I mean, I thought it would have been interesting if one of the droll birds landed exactly where I needed it to, then that would save a couple frames. But no, it's not worth it, because they never go where you want them to when you place them randomly. So yeah, one droll bird. One single droll bird is all you need in this stage. See, and the hilarious part is, I think it might actually be intentional, because one of his capsules has a Fiend Kraken in it. That's Mako Tsunami's ace monster of sorts, although why it's not the legendary fisherman is beyond me. It could have been Kairyushin for all I care. Anyway, the thing about ace monsters is, when the computer summons them, there's this giant summoning animation to go along with it. I initially thought that you needed to move a second Drollbird in order to destroy the Fiend Kraken before the summoning animation starts. Because, you know, that would obviously save you time, but no, you can destroy the symbol before that even happens, and you avoid the map animation along with it. So why do I think it's intentional? Mako actually responds to having his ace monster destroyed before the summoning animation starts. You attack it, and then he's all, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? Other computer opponents don't react in the same way, however, so it may be intentional for Mako to have his monster and symbol be destructible like that, but not so much for the others, even though you can destroy their ace monsters before the summoning animations start. It's not even a long animation. About as long as a regular move from the computer. Anyhow, yeah. Drollbird's attack stat plus the fire symbol's 36% boost. Boom. Instant destruction. If you would actually move the thing, this wouldn't be possible, Mako. And you'll notice that we did in fact eat 2 attacks from the water monsters, but because we're using a wind monster, it didn't matter. This is not possible to do without a Drollbird and a fire symbol, so that's fun. I actually think the amount of bonus experience you earn on that screen is determined by how many enemy monsters you destroy, but regardless, I was able to get the symbol to level up before Mai Valentine. Next up is Rex Raptor. I initially thought I would need 3 Kuribos and a Fiend Kraken to play his stage, like, quickly, but then I just experimented a little bit with it. I added that extra point in base AP to the symbol, and it enabled a pretty funny strategy here, so thank goodness I decided to try that. And it also helped in Mokuba's stage 2, so that extra point in base AP turned out to be very, very profitable. Because see, it boosted my base AP from 250 to 265, which allows us to pick a couple more monsters. We're using a Thunder Kid in this stage, and he is pretty expensive as far as AP goes. 64 AP to move him, 55 AP for each of the Kuramas I bring in. Kuriboh and Drollbird are both 30 AP monsters. Starting to wonder if there's something to those cards that you pick. I hope there is, because then we can manipulate that, and none of my whining about getting unlucky and going second will apply anymore. So Rex Raptor, when he plays in that corner of the board, is very, very smart. As smart as a real dinosaur, and they're all dead. Guess what's gonna happen? Well, you don't have to guess what's gonna happen, because you're gonna see. The monster formation here is, of course, very important. Especially the placement of the Kuribohs. They're gonna... Oh, oops. I flubbed. I accidentally put the capsule where one space below where it needed to be. So I'm gonna have to waste time moving it, which means the game has to load its animation all over again instead of just moving the object. Like, look at this. I think I would like Capsule Monster Coliseum a lot more if it wasn't slow and had lots of load times. Everything else about it is pretty cool. It's just the amount of loading is not good. Also, if it had more monsters, that would be pretty neat too. So while I summon everything, I'd like to point out that Rex has a monster called Larvis, which is going to be a pain in the butt in this stage. But I want to mention to anybody who maybe hasn't played this game before that there are monsters that can evolve. We're going full Pokemon here. And there are fusions you can do. Of course, you know, it's kind of a pain to set up fusions and evolutions because you have to get the levels right, you have to get the correct monsters to stand next to each other, and you're better off doing it at the end of a stage so that you don't wind up with lower numbers because you fused all 5 pieces of Exodia into the big guy. And what a waste of monster space that is, too. Anyhow, Rex decided to leave his first monster, a Steel Scorpion, where it can be one-shot immediately on the first turn. Well, the second turn, I guess. I suppose that one-hit kill wouldn't be possible if I weren't using a fire symbol, but then he goes and leaves the Shovel Crusher vulnerable to a Thunder Kid, and I'm like, what? Okay. There's something wrong when he's able to do that, and only 2 of his other monsters have been summoned, so only one of them is going to get to attack this turn. That's because Torike's range is just low. And where are all of his dinosaurs anyways? He's only got 2 real dinosaur monsters. Anyhow, the other 2 Drollbirds are going to be sitting tight in the capsules. I didn't really need them. It takes too long for them to catch up to the other monsters, so I prefer for my first wave of attacks to be the last one I need to do. And all of the AP costs for all of these monsters is just shy of the 265 that I started the game with, so thank goodness I put that extra point there. He's got a couple of Kuribohs, and I at the end of this stage I take 1, but I also take a Shovel Crusher, because oh, it's not time to move that Drollbird yet. What am I thinking? So yeah, I initially thought I would need 3 Kuribohs because here's the first hit on the Larvis. Here's the second hit coming up. Well, I'm gonna use the Drollbird first. So there's hit number 2. And he's left with 9 hit points, which is really unfortunate. Maybe there's a way to convert that into an actual kill somehow if Drollbird's level is higher, or if I use a monster other than Kuriboh. I don't know. It's possible, I suppose. But Kuriboh does get a level up here. You do not want to reject Kuriboh's level ups. So anyway, as I was saying, the monsters I take from Rex are a Karibo and a Shovel Crusher. The Shovel Crusher is used in my strategy for Mokuba, but in this recording I wound up going second against him, so I tried a different strategy instead, and it gave me a couple ideas for how to handle him. The thing about Mokuba is, get ready for the shock of the century, and I do mean it this time. He is harder than his older brother in this game. I have no idea how that happened. Mokuba Kaiba is now a challenge. Huh? Anyhow, getting back to the Rex battle. It's pretty much smooth sailing from here on out. His two-headed King Rex there at the top of the stage has a long summoning animation. Well, maybe not that long. You'll see how long it is, because I wasn't able to kill him before the animation started playing. But I do wind up just smashing his symbol after it's been summoned. If I could save a turn or two, that would be really nice, but the only other strategy I have involves casualties, and I don't want those right now. Look at that! That Karibo lived with only 1 hit point. Isn't that amazing? At the very least, these Karibos are far more unkillable than the Super Mario Bros. Variant. Anyhow, when I ran this game in order to get the kinda, sorta, but not really world record run in, I used Fiend Kraken in this stage, and I'm still not sure why. Anyhow, when I actually played this stage, I messed up considerably, and due to all the deaths, I had to play Mokuba's stage with a suboptimal strategy, and that just took forever. I don't quite mess up in this run nearly as much, but it's still pretty suboptimal. It just goes to show that there are some stages that really need work, even though I've found, like, a general great way to complete the game. And again, the symbol lived with like 7 hit points, which is rather unfortunate because I need to waste another attack. But at least we cleared the stage in a decent amount of time. I mean, we're only 12.5 minutes in. That's pretty impressive to have an area done in 12.5 minutes of time. So with him out of the way, we move on to Mokuba's stage. I suppose Mokuba being a challenge isn't really that much of a surprise when you consider that Mokuba was a Capsule Monsters expert in the manga, at least. He was the Capsule Monsters guy, and Seto Kaiba was the card games guy. So then Seto Kaiba decides to try Capsule Monsters, sets up this big tournament, and he winds up being a pussy opponent. It's kind of a shame. Oh, am I spoiling what's going to happen in Area 4? Silly me. Kinda wish Mokuba was the final boss of Capsule Monster Coliseum now that I think about it. It would be way funnier. Anyhow, Mokuba owes his difficulty to 2 things. 1, the stage itself. Like with Tristan, you've got a wide open area with 2 choke points dividing both players, so getting to the enemy is a huge hassle. Then you've got to deal with the monsters themselves, which is the second reason this is annoying. Thunder monsters, the biggest glass cannons aside from fire and wind when you've got a fire symbol. Ay. They're very evasive, they're very difficult to play with, but the payout, oh geez, just look at this guy. Gotta love the reference to the Capsule Monsters game Yugi and Mokuba played in the manga, by the way. Don't ask why Yugi is still friendly with the Kaiba family after everything that happens in the manga, but I suppose it's just because Yugi is a very, very nice person, I'll say. I wound up going second here, which means that my strategy involving a Shovel Crusher can't be played, so I have to wing it. Quite literally, in fact, considering I deploy all the Droll Birds and all the Karamas. Their placement that I go with here is a little iffy, I want to say. The Karibos and Droll Birds are fine. The Droll Birds are placed so that they can charge down the lanes very, very quickly. But the Karamas, well, I put them both on the same diagonals, let's call it. I'm not sure how to describe it. They're like chess bishops, which means that the enemy can evade them easily if they wanted to. Maybe I should try this with the right Kurama one space to the right or something? I don't know. Anyhow, we can one-shot his Steel Scorpions and Thunder Kids, and possibly the Shuttle Crusher too. But he can really lay it down on us. His monsters have some amazing movement. In fact, Mokuba decided to play his own Droll Bird in this stage. He's learning from us, I guess. At the end of this stage, I take 2 of his Thunder Kids. Part of me wants to maybe try taking the Droll Bird just so that we have a 4th. But, well, I don't know. Actually, I want 3 Thunder Kids in Weevil Underwood stage, which is following this one. I also want to make sure that I don't lose either of the 2 Karibos, since they're used in my strategy for Weevil Underwood. Though I suppose I could use the Droll Birds there, too. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Thanks to that extra point in AP that I put into the symbol, I can summon everything on the first turn, which saves time. If I hadn't put that point in AP, I would be 2 AP short of being able to summon everything. So thank goodness for that. That kind of is a reason you would want to go second in this stage, and it's that the Droll Bird on the right here can one-shot the Thunder Kid as soon as it's able to, rather than having to sit and wait for the Thunder Kid to walk right into your range. Other than that, this turn I'm just moving everything forward. If I turned on the grid lines, then you would be able to see that there is an impassable column on each side of this power generator thingy. This stage is a power plant. And that makes it very annoying to get around it with your diagonal monsters, but I managed to find a way. If you don't have the grid lines turned on, it can be very difficult to notice because it disappears if the camera is too close to it. Which is good. You know, you don't want the camera to get in your way all the time. You can see it from there, I think. Anyhow, that first Thunder Kid is in range of the Droll Bird. But you're going to see that Mokuba's monsters are very, very powerful. Not sure how you could ever survive more than 2 hits from these guys. No, I don't want to attack the Wicked Dragon with a really long name. I want to attack this thing. There we go. Now you can kind of see how important the fire symbol was, because it's really letting us lay down some big offensive strikes here. If I wasn't using the fire symbol, then these Droll Birds and the Karamas would be kind of sort of useless if their growth rates are any indication. I think I've mentioned it before, but they only seem to get 1 point in defense per level up. Which is really strange. Why would you have a level up mechanic if your monsters are just going to not get much out of it? Other monsters are not nearly the same. I made a cheat code that makes all enemy units level 9. When I tried fighting Joey with it, he ran right over me. It was not enjoyable. Anyhow, since all I need in Weevil Underwood stage are Thunder Kids and Karibos, I can be pretty pretty lenient about what I allow to get destroyed. If you want to try altering the order that you take the stages in, it might be worth trying to play this stage with whatever's left after Grandpa first, and then going to Mako Tsunami, because as I said, Mako Tsunami is a freebie, and if you aren't interested in just surrendering to get all of your monsters back from the graveyard, then, you know, just play Mako's stage, and they'll all be back, because you only need the 1 Droll Bird anyways. Here's some more Karibo kill feeding. I looked up the meaning of the word Karibo, and it literally means chestnut person, hence why the Goombas in Super Mario Bros. Have that name. But why did you name your hairball fiend monster Karibo in that case? Oh well. That monster that I just attacked is called Wicked Dragon with the Ersatz head, so I have no idea what they're thinking. I also don't know what they were thinking when they named Kaminari Kozo, even in the Western releases, so whatever. Here I'm just trying to make sure nothing can hit this Drollbird, because it can at least come out and swing for one more hit. Oh yeah, this animation, by the way, it opens up some electrical panels, which means that the spaces near the player's symbols are electrified floors, which will damage anything that's not a Thunder Monster. How fantastic. It's so useful, right? I mean, you could really use that to your advantage. Wait a couple more turns and the panels on the sides of the arena open up too, which I guess is more of a threat. Yep, that bird's going down. The Steel Scorpion there was just the biggest annoyance in this stage for me. You can see that it's positioned just so my Kurama can't actually hit it. Because Kurama moves diagonally but attacks the spaces adjacent to it. I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but Kurama itself, by this point, has gained its special ability. Oh, and Shovel Crusher, yeah, unfortunately it went down to 5 hit points, which is pretty embarrassing, but at least Karibo gets another kill. Anyway, Kurama's special ability is literally to lower the defense of one other unit, and since most monsters have low defense anyways, I have no idea why you would try it. I mean, if Kurama can attack, then it may as well attack, especially if you're playing like I am. So who knows what was up with that. That's the last hit that Drollbird is going to see, because it's almost guaranteed the Wicked Dragon will kill it on the next turn. At least Steel Scorpion can't get at it, but it can get at my Kurama. At least if it does try it, then it'll be in range of my other monsters. Figuring out where you're able to afford such sacrifices is one of the keys to speedrunning this. Or play the game in general, in fact. So yeah, unfortunately, Wicked Dragon decided to destroy the Kurama instead. Which means that even though I can destroy the Wicked Dragon now, how am I going to get to the Steel Scorpion? This is going to be difficult to figure out. But hey, Karibo gets another kill, so everything's kind of worth it. As stated, he does wind up at level 4 at the end of this area, so that's helpful. Area 3 is just going to be beautiful, because by that point, our symbol will have leveled up again. And with our effect rate at 8, 16, 24, it'll be at 60%. And that's just an amazing amount. It's going to run over so many monsters, it's not even funny. Well, the symbol's not going to run over monsters, but our other units will. So yeah, this was another mistake. This is where I start making mistakes, because that last Steel Scorpion was so annoying to get to. He's just so effective at annoying me, or avoiding me. He's effective at annoying me too, though. See, Karibo can't kill him in one hit. And the other Karibo can't even hit him. And I mistakenly ended turn there. Well, I did intend to end turn there, thinking that the Steel Scorpion couldn't avoid me at all. But it turns out that he'll be out of Karibo's range if he just pulls back and attacks from there. So at least the AI knows how to attack without leaving itself vulnerable, some sort of, but not in huge major situations, I guess. So I eventually get sick of that and just start going after the symbol here. I probably should have been going after the symbol to begin with. I mean, how's it supposed to avoid anything I throw at it now? And the Steel Scorpion can't even get to me from where it is back there. It moved behind that pillar. What was it thinking? What a digital dummy. I had to bust that line out at least once. Oh, and here come all of the damage animations. So yeah, definitely could use a better strategy for Mokuba's stage, but you get the general idea of what we're going for. Did the symbol just move into my attack range? I don't think it did. Well, the Karibos can hit it. Oh, and the Kurama can hit it. That's it, game over. But Karibo gets a level. I'm actually starting to wonder if I should play the next few stages without Karibo's special ability in mind, because if we figure out a faster route through Mokuba's stage, then we might not get this symbol kill, Karibo might not get so many kills, etc. And the symbols are in fact worth more EXP than regular monsters too. That was probably obvious by now though. I know what that dialogue says, and Mokuba says we don't stand a chance against Seto. Oh man, that'll be embarrassing. Yeah, so Kurama just... The other Kurama got its special ability, and we take the two Thunder Kids. The next stage is Weevil Underwood. As you might have expected, he uses wood monsters, which means we can't use any of our wind monsters because they'll get destroyed pretty quickly, and attacking wood with wind is not good since you'll have all your damage output halved. So I decided to take my thunder monsters in there instead. I take 3 Thunder Kids and 2 Karibos. I deployed 3 Karibos, but only 2 of them are able to move because I didn't have enough AP for the third. I think I would have had enough if I'd used 3 Drill Birds instead. Whoa, what just happened? I blinked and... Okay, don't mind me, I'm just looking at the pretty graphics. This stage is... This stage is not nearly as epic as it could have been, by the way. It's really small. They don't have a lot of insect monsters in this game, so Weevil Underwood didn't really get to do much with his team. He's got a petite moth, its evolution, a larvae moth, and a cockroach knight. All the annoying things I hate. And to make matters worse, I'm going second. But hey, maybe that'll turn out to be a good thing, because the computer did have that tendency to blunder right into my monsters. Again, I really wish I could bring a fire monster in here, but that would cost me a lot of time since I would have to go all the way to the shop to pick one up. And though I have fire reapers, they aren't nearly fast enough to do this quickly. Though if you do manage to get a fire monster in there somehow, it's pretty much a guaranteed one-hit knockout on the wood monsters. So these Karibos go here. Diagonal movement is just awesome in this stage. The smaller stages really like diagonal movement for some reason. Well, I guess any stage where the players start in opposite corners would be great for diagonals. Then you have stages like Tea's where orthogonal movement is favored. I wish I could find a symbol kill for this, but since it's so far in the back and he actually does start retreating his symbol to the corner later, it's not gonna be something I can reliably do. I'm curious, how much AP did I wind up with at the end of this? 137, 73. So let's see, okay, so if I was using Drollbirds, I probably wouldn't have enough AP here to summon the third. Alright, that's fine. We can deal with it. Also, in this stage, I don't really care too much about monster deaths either, because in Mai Valentine stage, I just need my wind monsters, and I'm set. I would love for Kuriboh to collect some more bonus experience by hanging around the back of that stage, though. So hopefully this stage will go well enough that I'll allow that to happen. Just gotta move everyone forward on this first turn. I think it takes minimum of 2 to 3 hits for the Cockroach Knight to die. The Larva Moth is probably going to take 2 to 3 hits. The Petite Moth will always take 2 hits if I'm reading the numbers right. And these wood monsters in particular have really poor movement. So dancing around them with these Thunder Kids is very, very easy. Somebody's going to have to take a hit from the Cockroach Knight, though. Not really sure what this stage would look like if Weevil Underwood were saddled with Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth, which is in this game. Of course, only one of the Thunder Kids can hit the Cockroach Knight, so it can't die this turn. But next time... Yep, Larva Moth is going to take 3 hits. Which means I had to spend time thinking. Oh yeah, Weevil Underwood's got a Shovel Crusher? What are you doing with a Shovel Crusher there, dude? That's a Thunder monster. I guess you could pick it up here if you want to use my strategy for Mokuba when I'm going first. At least the Root Water makes kind of sort of sense because it could strike against any fire monsters you have. Ooh, that tree was in the way of the camera. Well, he is packing a pretty huge punch, though, for a Petite Moth. Alright, time to lay some heat down. That's the only monster Thunder Kid can attack there. You know, being a Pokemon player, you'd think Thunder would do extra damage against water, but not in this game. In this game, Thunder is strong against light. Very odd. Here I'm kind of spreading the attacks out. A lot of my monsters are going to be vulnerable to getting hit here, but he'll only have 3 monsters to move. I think he'll only have 2 monsters to move, actually, if I play it correctly. Yep, as I thought. I'm destroying the Shovel Crusher here. That's another kill for Kuriboh, by the way. Even though kills are getting me like 10 to 15 experience points at this point. You've got 2 monsters, Weevil. What are you gonna do to me? Oh, a map animation. Okay. So in this turn, the moon appears, I guess. Not really sure what that does. Probably just makes light monsters better because there's light now. Or it makes dark monsters better because it's the moon. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Honestly, the map and the way it affects your monsters' stats is pretty you can ignore it for the most part, I think. Well, actually, on Mai Valentine's stage, the map's effect on your monsters does become pretty important. Because her map just gives her wind monsters a big defense boost. And their defense is already semi-high. And of course her wind symbol gives her more defense as well. I'm not even talking about Weevil Underwood anymore, because he's about to lose on this turn. There goes the Larvae Moth, the most useless card in the TCG. It's no more valuable than that bookmark you've been using. Or that tissue paper you've been using as a bookmark, rather. He wasn't very good in this game either. Unless you evolve him. Now then, what's the best insect pun to make at this point? I squashed him like a bug. I stole his honey. I don't know. You can make one on your own if you want. So anyhow, that's more than enough experience points for the symbol to level up, which is good. Even if the game does award you more experience points for destroying monsters, it's not really worth it to go out of your way to get all that experience, since by the end of the game, you'll be level 9 anyways. The symbol will be level 9 by the middle of Area 4, if I remember correctly. Or the end of Area 4. That just leaves Mai Valentine. The only good pun name 4Kids has ever come up with. That's an interesting artwork of her. Why is her deck tied to her leg like that? Is that her deck? Why is she carrying her deck? It's Capsule monsters. Oh well. Anyhow, this stage really likes defensive wind monsters for some reason. On a casual playthrough, if you take too long, then the wind starts picking up, which causes the enemy's defense to skyrocket. Fortunately, since our offense has already skyrocketed, we can pull off what's basically a speed kill. I mean, it might just be a speed kill based on the virtue of I move as quickly as I can and get to the enemy as quickly as possible. However, I deviated from my normal strategy slightly in this playthrough, and I don't know at this point if that will affect a whole lot. I don't think it will, to be honest. In fact, the deviation probably doesn't matter that much in the long run. Basically, Mai Valentine has 2 Harpy Ladies that, on my initial run, I took for myself in order to use them because they're such excellent wind monsters. They move 4 spaces, they've got the usual amount of attack power. It's all good. But on this run, a change that I made, kind of spur of the moment, resulted in me not being able to take one of the Harpy Ladies, so I instead took One-Eyed Shield Dragon, which has the same movement, probably not the same attack power, but probably the same overall value to a speedrun. So hopefully that won't ruin things too much. In fact, One-Eyed Shield Dragon has such a lower AP cost than Harpy Lady, for some reason, that it might be worth it to take that monster instead. And, you know, we'll see how it goes. AP past this point isn't really that much of an issue. That's the advantage of using all of these low AP monsters. They might not be as strong as some of the other monsters we could be using, but they're certainly reliable and fast. Anyhow, about those fire monsters that she's got with her, just in case you decided to bring in a wood monster. Why would you bring in a wood monster? The fire monsters all die in one hit to everything we've got, so it's all good. so we're just gonna be moving right along here, and I'm out of things to talk about already. Oh, I forgot to mention, you might notice a certain monster missing from Mai Valentine's roster here. Which monster am I talking about? Well, Meku Tsunami got his ace monsters, Rex Raptor got his ace monster. Where in the world is Harpy's pet dragon? Yeah. Well, it turns out that this game has 77 unused monsters, and among them is Harpy's pet dragon. Why is Harpy's pet dragon unused? I will never know. Other notable exclusions from the monsters that they did implement but never let the player obtain include Dark Elf, Labyrinth Tank, Beaver Warrior, Giant Soldier of Stone, and Black Luster Soldier. Oh, the fanboy in me is just screaming at that. They also excluded Kairyushin for anyone who maybe cares about that monster. And a bunch of other ones that are kinda not well known but are still kinda cool. This is the only hit she's going to get on me, if I remember correctly. Take a picture, it won't last long. Actually, that Wicked Dragon is probably going to get another hit. So we'll just move our Kurama up here. Oh, neither of the Kuramas can hit the Flame Manipulator. Oops. Why is she using a Flame Manipulator anyways? Was that just all she had? And Mechanical Snail? These are some weird monster choices, but then again, Joey Wheeler with 4 Fire Reapers is also very strange. Now I need to pay attention for this next part here, because you'll notice that the Harpy ladies are still in their capsules, and they are ripe for destruction. However, instead of actually destroying one, I moved my drill bird to avoid getting destroyed by a Wicked Dragon with the Ersatz head. I'm not sure if that makes this stage slower than it could have been. Doesn't really look like it. I mean, given where Wicked Dragon is perched at the moment, it seems unlikely that I could hit the symbol on this very next turn. But it does mean that I won't be able to destroy one of the Harpy Lady capsules before she's summoned. So that's kind of sort of unfortunate, but one of them is good enough. You probably won't mind losing one of the drill birds, so I'd try a strategy where you do in fact destroy that capsule. Also, the Kuramas wound up doing nothing in this strategy. Huh, that's pretty odd too. So again, I want to reiterate that this run that I'm doing is by no means the best possible run. You've just got to take what I'm doing and use it as a baseline for improving my routes or coming up with something completely different. I'm just here to tell you what works and what doesn't work. Oh yeah, she's also got a Jigen Bakudan. I don't know why. And she just blundered away her symbol. How do you like that? Why did she blunder it away? Well, I can't one-shot her Harpy Lady, so I can't take it. Just 25 points short. But now the Kurama can hit the symbol, and I have no idea why she decided to move it there. And this is definitely a one-shot kill. If I had played Mai Valentine's stage any sooner than this, then my symbol would not be leveled up to the point where this is a one-shot kill. She asks if she's going to lose there. Your symbol was destroyed, Mai. You lost. You already lost. The only way to one-shot the symbol that I found if you take this stage any sooner than now, is to have your symbol's effect rate be at 44% and have a level 5 Drill Bird. Yeah, obviously that's not practical at all, considering that putting the extra point into AP instead of effect rate wound up being worth so much. And now for a giant string of level ups. That's quite a lot. And Kuriboh gets its special ability. I take One-Eyed Shield Dragon and a Harpy Lady, and that clears Area 2. Next up is Area 3, where running over these weaklings takes on a whole new meaning. See you then.